Hey everybody, it's Greg with PCB Bound. We're back with you here. Something a little bit different. I sort of want to interject in our cooking series. It's something really important, but first I need to go ask my wife something real quick. So let's go see if we can find her real quick. Babe, you up here?
Yeah.
You in the bedroom?
Over here.
What are you doing?
I'm just looking to make sure that there's nothing left behind in the closet.
Alright.
Looks pretty empty.
Yeah, the
Weird.
number one daughter moved out. Was it last Saturday?
Yeah, the 15th.
Last Saturday she moved into her first apartment, so we moved her out Saturday. But anyway, so I got a big problem.
What is it?
Well, I want your thoughts. I've been thinking about it for the last few days. We're running out of time. I feel like if I don't do something tonight, it ain't gonna happen. We got the cooking episode on Sunday.
Yeah.
Work has been crazy. I'm exhausted when I get home. I need to go in early tomorrow. It's gonna be a long tomorrow night, Friday night with the dinner. Then Saturday night we got a dinner. Sunday we're doing the thing. So there's a lot going on.
You want to do something now?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. So we can go to that place and basically I need to show you guys something. We can go there and I can show them what it is, and then we can come back. I don't want to wait for Saturday. It's all nice and bright, butterflies and rainbows, and I think this topic is well, I don't want to say yet what we're going to share with you right now. I need to show you something first, but it's very important. There's a lot of gravity to, I guess, today's vlog, today's episode, or whatever you want to call it. But it's something very important, and I feel like it deserves some urgency. I know it's raining outside. I can bring the umbrella, the flashlight, and I think I can get some video of what I want to show these guys.
Okay.
So is that cool?
Fine, let's go.
All right, let's go. Lady, come on, let's go. Let's grab the keys and all that good stuff. And so yeah, we're gonna head off in the Jeep right now, and we got to drive across town. I will see you guys in a few seconds. Hey everybody, this is kind of just really ad lib, and we're just gonna do this. I'm out. Well, it's a little bit of a lull in the rain, but I got this flashlight. Hopefully you can see me a little bit. It's pretty bright. Anyways, trying to hold this umbrella and camera at the same time. So I don't even know where to begin. Well, let me do this. Let me hold the umbrella. I think we can drop the umbrella for right now. Let's do that. Let's drop the umbrella. All right, how about that? All right, without blinding myself. So like I was saying, this is a very grave topic. I don't know if that's the right word to use. There's a lot of gravity in this topic. This is a very serious topic. This is not some joke. This is not some ploy. Let's just keep walking. Let me start by saying this. I don't want to use names. Let's just say there's people that we know that have suffered in our lives, and for different reasons. And again, I can't say too much because I don't want to reveal who they are or what happened. I want to respect their privacy. But given that notion of people suffering, giving the idea that Christmas is just literally, what's today? Thursday. It's next Tuesday. And this is a very joyous time of year for many people, but for a lot of people it's a very depressing time of year. And it's starting to rain, so let me put the umbrella back because I don't want my gear to get wet, especially the microphone. Let me see if I can do it this way. This is kind of, like I said, just on the fly here. So again, this is a time of year that's very, very depressing for many people, and I've had personal experience with this topic with someone that I knew growing up. And so my wife and I were talking, and all this kind of converged. And the last couple of days I've done a lot of thinking on this topic. And I thought to myself, given my education, my background, and how I used to be in a position to, I was actually in a full-time position to help a lot of people in different ways, but it would be wrong for me not to put something out there when I have the ability now to convey such information that can help so many people. There's somebody here watching maybe tonight, I don't know, or will be watching this in time, maybe next year, maybe 2 nights from now when I upload this. I'm gonna upload this tonight. I'm gonna do all this tonight. But I don't want to not put it up because I don't think I could sleep at night. I don't think I could, in good conscience, say, man, I should have done that. Or it's okay, I didn't do that. No. I need to do this. I need to do this topic. And I don't want to keep holding you guys out there too long. I'm just trying to really get my thoughts together, to be honest. Again, I'm just doing this right now. We're at a park, and I know you can't see it. You can see our Jeep's headlights over there. My wife's over there with Lady B. There's a little river over here. It's a nice park. It's a nice park we came to on Sunday. And I'll come back and we'll showcase this park another day. It's a really, really nice park. But as we'd never been here before. Our first time was Sunday. And when we came around this trail, this little walkway, we came upon this little area right here. And I don't know if you guys can see it. I brought my flashlight. There's a couple benches and a rock wall over here. There used to be 2 big trees, one right there and one right over there. Again, I don't know how good you guys can see. But anyways, we came up to this point and we looked down to see what it said. So again, when we saw this wall, when we came up to this wall and we read what was on the wall, it had an impact on me. It sort of converged everything that was happening. Let me just show it to you and then I'll explain. So this wall, again, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this or not. I'm gonna try to show the flashlight on this, but basically the wall says, and I'll kind of go slowly, it says Memorial Tree Garden. And we saw a little placard down here, and let me take the rock to the side. It hasn't been kept up really, but if you can see this, it says to those who have lost their lives to suicide, remembered with love, comfort and peace, to families and friends left behind. So basically, the city, I guess, of Clarksville constructed this little memorial tree garden with this placard here as a memoriam, as a place of remembrance for those that were lost to suicide. And now I can maybe explain how this all comes together. Again, we know someone who had suffered something. It wasn't related to suicide at all. It was just a loss, a very huge loss. The person lost a child, and that's all I'm gonna say there. And there's a young man who works under me where I work. And again, I don't discuss where I work. There's a professional line that I draw there. And he had told me on Friday, this last Friday, it's Thursday, that someone he knows had committed suicide. A senior in his class, or in his high school, that is. I don't know how well he knew him, but he was one of those kids that, well, he was a straight shooter. He got straight A's. His parents were both in professions, and he drove out with a handgun and he shot himself. No one knows anything beyond that. So this time of year, being Christmas, again, it's one of the most depressing times of year for many people. I had a friend growing up, and I need to find my umbrella here where I left it. I had a friend growing up. I was about 4 or 5 years old when we had moved to Newark, California, where I grew up. And his name was Brandon Foley. And he was a couple years older than I was. And we grew up. I knew him into my early 20s. And I'd say probably in my close to mid 20s, or just before I'd say still in my early 20s. Again, he was a couple years older than I was. I grew up with this guy my whole life, basically, my whole childhood, teenage years, early adulthood. His mom was a nurse, and one day he just had gotten into a lot of drugs and stuff, and he had isolated himself for a long time. He was suffering, and he always had gone through a lot of bad stuff in life, just psychologically and for reasons we can't understand. And he got up on his Harley and he made a noose to the rafters in the garage, and he kicked out the motorcycle. He kicked it out from underneath him, and he hung himself. His mom had come home that afternoon like she normally did every day and hit the garage door opener, and the garage went up and to her sight. And just because I knew her routine, obviously she would have seen his legs first, and slowly but surely revealed her son hanging there on a rope, dead. And I remember the coroner that night coming to the neighborhood, and I can still see it in color. It was just it's kind of twilight out that time of night. She'd come home in the late afternoon hours, and there was a weird air about the place. Just a really weird air about the whole court. That we lived in a court cul-de-sac, and it was very still and very quiet, different in a different way that I had never known. Been there my whole life as a child, never moved from that house, except when we had arrived there at 4 or 5 years old, to like I said, to almost my mid-20s. And I know what it's like to lose a friend that I played catch with in the court. I know what it's like to know someone for a very long time, and then to just, they're gone. And again, this is a time of year where a lot of people are suffering quietly, and there's a lot of people that are depressed right now this time of year. And all these things converge. This kid who just killed himself on Friday, shot himself dead at a quarry. The person I had known in my whole childhood, basically. A person we know who her son was taken away from her in a very violent way. In terms of tragedy, not in terms of actual like gun violence or nothing like that. And it reminds me of all these people and all these things. It reminds me of my education in college. I don't think I've shared yet my education with you all, but I majored in psychology and I minored in philosophy. I San Jose State University, and I had gotten straight A's and was going on to graduate school and that different stuff like that. Masters, and was going to be a therapist, and did a little bit different of a route. Still helped people, but in a different venue. Just chose a different direction, basically. So I have a lot of experience in helping people when times are hard, helping people when people don't know how to help people, people who are in crisis. And that's why I thought to myself, it would be so weird for me, knowing who I am and what my education is and the people I've known, it would be weird for me not to say anything about this topic. When I know that this video, once it gets published, it may be viewed by so many people who are quietly suffering, so many people that need to hear somebody talk about it, to hear someone talk about it in a mature way, someone who's not going to judge them or say they're selfish, somebody who knows about psychobiology and chemistry and neurotransmitters and dopamine and serotonin and how our minds work, and when we become depressed and how that gives us a a proclivity to having automatic depressive thoughts and even thoughts of suicide is a normal thing, if you will, for people who are depressed. It's not that they chose to think those things. It's not necessarily that they're going to act on those things. But again, just having someone talk about this in a way that where they're not judged. So many times in my life I've been judged for things and had always wished there was somebody there that would not judge me, that would just listen to me, that might just reach out and say, maybe I understand a little bit of what you're going through, or I can understand on maybe different areas of my life where maybe I've suffered in different ways. But I want to sort of pause here for a moment, and I want to take this back to the house and continue this discussion, continue this conversation. So if you are out there and you are somebody who is suffering right now, I want to continue to talk to you. And give me just a few minutes of your time. Just give me a couple minutes of your time. And let's talk. And we'll be right back. We're going to jump in the Jeep and we're going to be back. And for you, we'll be back there. And, well, we'll be back for you in 1 second. All right, so just stay on. Don't go nowhere. And I'll see you in a second. Hey, we're back like I said we would be. So on the drive there, I basically brought my wife up to speed with what I wanted to do. So I told her about the theme of suicide, or the topic of suicide, and she knows I had been thinking about it for a couple days now. And again, it's weighed on me so much that I know if I wait for ideal conditions to shoot it, if you will, I don't believe that's right. It's weighed on me heavy to the point where I know it's dark outside. I know it was probably hard to see. But I think what's important right now is that there's a voice. And here it is, me. And I'm one voice. And there's many voices out there. And when you're suffering, and when you're depressed, and when you have suicidal thoughts, just having someone's voice, just their voice, just somebody to hear that they're suffering, to know that they're suffering, to validate your emotions, that there's nothing that we can say that's going to make you feel better. There's nothing that I can say that's going to take it away. There's nothing that I can do right now that's going to change anything that you're going through. It's a dark space. It's a dark time. I can't just flip a switch and say, you don't have to suffer now. You are suffering. And you need to hear that. And I'm telling you, I understand that you're suffering. And I understand that it's a dark space. And I also understand that when you're depressed, you have a heightened sense of pessimism. You look at things very critically, and you can see whether someone's real or whether someone's fake. There's no cliche words, like I said, to make you feel better. But I do want to say a few things. I want to say that you have options. You have a choice. You can actually act upon your situation in spite of your suffering. And what you do now is up to you. Nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to do. What you're suffering and what you're going through is more real than more people understand. I'm not going to belabor education or life experience, because that's not what you need to hear. What you need to hear is just the truth. And the truth of the matter is, if you're depressed and you're having suicidal thoughts, then you're suffering. And it's very real. But at the same time, you also need to hear the truth that you have options. And you could do a few things. You're continuing to choose to listen to me right now. And I'm but a voice. You don't know who I am. You don't know my background. You don't know nothing about me per se. Maybe this is the first video you've seen of ours. Welcome to PCB Bound. We do a channel that's based on van life. And though this may seem like it's outside the boundaries of our channel, I thought about that today, and I thought about van lifers. Van lifers can become very isolated, very alone. And like anybody else, they can become depressed.
Yeah.
And they can suffer like yourself. So this is very relevant not only for the topic of suicide or depression or suicidal thoughts or tendencies, if you will, or just someone who's psychologically just suffering. Maybe you've been abused. Maybe you're just suffering from mental anguish, maybe a loss. Any of these things can perpetuate suicidal thoughts. But I want you to know again, you have options, and you have the option to listen to me. You have the option to criticize me. You have the option to scrutinize what I'm saying. Everything you do is a choice. You can also choose to call somebody right now. You can call a suicide helpline. Google it. You can call the operator and say, please patch me through to a suicidal hotline. It's that simple. 411. Hello, can I help you? What do you need? I need to talk to somebody. You can call 911 and you can ask for immediate help and say, I'm having suicidal thoughts. You don't have to worry about getting in trouble. You're not going to go to jail. Nobody's going to hurt you. But you have a choice to get help. You have an option. And as long as you have a choice in this world, and as long as you understand and be honest and realize that you have options and choices, therefore there is always hope. And I remember very starkly, very vividly, in one of my one of my courses, we were told to read Viktor Frankl. He was a psychiatrist. He was a Jewish psychiatrist who had been locked up in a concentration camp during the Holocaust. And he had studied a lot of people and observed why people were not killing themselves and why people did kill themselves. And during his observations, and this whole book was written while he was in the concentration camp, and you can read it. It's not a very long read, but it's a very deeply insightful read, and that's why they had us read it. And it came down to hope. Those people who had hope survived. No matter how dark the circumstances, no matter how bad they had starved, no bad anything, as long as they had hope, they were survivors. The people who lose hope, who lose touch and the sensibilities of having the perceptual understanding of the sensibilities of having hope, people who lose hope are the ones that have that grave tendency to go ahead and just end it. And that's a very core understanding of suicide itself. It comes down to hope. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. You have a choice, and I think you can agree with me that you have a choice. And I think you can agree with me that you therefore have options. And as long as you have options and a choice, there is always hope.
That's right.
There is always hope. And no matter how many suicidal thoughts you have, whether it be an effect of being depressed because your neurotransmitters and your brain chemistry and the homeostasis of your mind is off balance a little bit, antidepressants will help balance that back out. No matter what you've been through, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter the anguish, no matter the however long you've lived with whatever it is that you're suffering with, it's real, but you still have hope because you have a choice and because you have options, and you can seek out help. And I want you to know, if anything at all, I need you to understand that you still have hope. And as long as you can understand that, you will survive. You will get through it. You just need to reach out and ask for help. Make that choice. Choose that option. Exercise the fact and reality that you have hope. And you'll be okay. That's what I wanted to get across. Because I know there are people out there that are suffering.
Yeah, especially during these.
I was telling them
holiday.
earlier that my friend Brandon Foley had committed suicide. So I've experienced it in my life. I've experienced it helping other people. I've experienced it academically, in different ways. And I'm not going to lie to these people. I'm not going to lie, because that's not what they need to hear. They need to hear that they have hope. And because I know there are no other words when you're suffering. There's nothing that's going to make you feel better. I can validate your emotions. I can meet you in a sincere and genuine way. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that you still have hope. Again, because you have a choice, you can make choices, and there's always options, right?
That's correct.
There's always options. Again, if we want to tie this into our channel, and we ought to, van life. Van life is can be a very isolative thing. We talked about perception and being in a smaller space. Sometimes people have a stigma attached to people who live in their cars or their RVs or whatever it is. For us, the RV, it's a luxurious RV, number one. We're not down and out. This is a choice. We're excited about it. But if you happen to be someone who's living in a car or living in a van and it was for other circumstances, then that perception would be a little bit different.
Right.
Then it can become very depressing. It's a perceptual point of view that we have versus whatever it is that maybe you're dealing with. And maybe you're a van lifer watching this right now, and you're relating to this, and maybe you're suffering. Maybe you're lonely, you're isolated, but you have a choice. You can socialize, you can do meetup groups. There is a ton of social media outlets in this world today, in this digital age we live in. You can comment to us. Any of you can comment to us, and we will respond to you. And if that's the only thing that I can do right now is tell you that, then that's what we're telling you. We're here, and we're listening. And I understand more than you realize. But again, I'm not here to quantify or to qualify who and what I am or anything of my background. I'm just a voice of reason, a voice of hope. And I hope and pray that you choose to live, that you choose to get help. And it's going to be okay. It will be okay. And this too shall pass. No matter what trial or tribulation you're going through, it will pass. And you can get better. I know this for a fact. What else? What else? What else do you want to add to this? I don't know what else to say, but just to say the truth.
You've said it all.
All right, we're not going to belabor this. We're going to go ahead and end now. But again, if you want to comment, you want to reach out to us, we're here. I hope everybody here has a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, and Christmas is on what, Tuesday this year?
5 days away.
Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. And again, we'll be doing our episode number 3. But we'll deal with that later. I don't want to do this right now. let's just leave on that note. Have a Merry Christmas. Comment. And again, there are a ton of people that could be watching this right now who have an ear and a voice as well. And you also can comment and be supportive to those who are suffering right now. You can leave your comments. Let them know that you're hearing, and let them know that you have a voice too, and let them know that you care also. Everybody here loves somebody in this world. Everybody here in this world loves somebody or something. Our dog loves us and we love her. We love our parents and they love us. We love each other. And you may be single right now. You may be divorced. I don't know. But there's somebody here in this world that loves you. We love you. We're supposed to love our neighbors as ourselves, right?
Right.
And that's why we're doing this. Because we have the ability to speak the truth, tell you the truth, and have the courage to do this on YouTube.
Yeah.
I really thought about this because I thought this could be like some bad backlash thing, but I thought, you know what, I don't care. This is real, and people are real, and we're real, and my background's real. So I'm like, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna sleep at night. That's why I told you we need to do this tonight. I ain't gonna wait no more. So there's been a lot of stuff happening in our lives that's been converging on this topic, and it just really set in my heart to do this video. So I'm just going to leave on that note. I'm not going to talk no more. I feel like I'm rambling. I think you've heard us loud and clear. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
So we're PCB bound. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll let everybody here who's watching just do what's on your heart. If you want to leave a comment, support people who might be hearing. There's people that quietly listen. There's people that listen to our channel that don't subscribe. There's going to be so many people over the years that'll probably see this. And maybe this doesn't help the person right now on this very night that I publish it. Maybe it's 3 years from now.
In the future.
It could be in the future, yeah. And I thought about that too. But for some reason, my heart said, I need to do this tonight. And so I have peace about that. All right. Well, we love you guys. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for subscribing to us. We'll see you next time.